Hello and welcome everyone. Good morning. Derek here to share part 2 of our ongoing series on the essence of AUM. So applying the practice of AUM to meditative practice, and what's more, backing up and appreciating AUM as a concept, as an entity. And very often AUM is presented as a kind of verb, like a thing, right? Like we'll do 3 ohms now. We're going to kind of say the object of Om. And I'd like us to consider or reflect on Om as a larger principle than that. It's not something that's, confined, confined necessarily to our auditory rendering, where it has a beginning and then it has a middle and then it has an end, and therefore we did the Om. Rather, I'd like us to reflect on or consider Om as a kind of living force, if you will, as a kind more like a verb, right, that has its own kind of reverberation and potency. And in fact, I may have mentioned this last week, Om is regarded, and through meditative practice, we may come more in like attuned recognition of this, but the texts tell us and authoritative teachers tell us that the reverberation of Om is a kind of the primal seed current of the creation. That in the same way that Om might be to the creation what your skeleton is to your body, right? We can't necessarily see it per se. However, its influence or imprint is, quite substantial. Try to imagine a human being without a skeleton. That would be a bit of a mess. So Om is regarded as this kind of primal current power that infuses all of life, as well as other mantras have that kind of regard and import as well. As I probably mentioned last week, there are 4 components to the sound. So A, sometimes Om is spelled AUM, and I think that helps to illustrate what I'm discussing right now, as well as OM. So when you combine an A and U in Sanskrit, it turns more into an O sound. So sometimes you get the hyphenated spelling of it, and AUM is more indicative of kind of how we can approach it with greater detail. So the first sound is O, which is this kind of like or rather A, is this moment of like being in awe, like this. You can, your senses wake up and there's this more expansive field. And U sound, which is this kind of sustained moment. So A and U often get the majority of attention, and then people tend to just sneak that sound in there at the end. And in our practice, I'd like us to weigh those things equally. So let's say we were doing a 6 count, like the first 2 would be the A, second 2 would be U, and the final 2 would be this M. And as was discussed last week, holding space for the ensuing silence, that palpable, infinite silence at the end of the mantra. Similarly, we can place the sound deliberately in the body. So as you chant the A sound, we can concentrate on this ascent from the pelvic floor roughly up to the diaphragm. And then the U sound from the diaphragm to the throat. And the sound all the way up to the crown, and then here's where we can feel the silence. AUM, up like that. And there's a kind of weightedness to each letter or sound that fits nicely in this spectrum of ascending sound. In another sense, we could regard Om as more of a kind of awakened invocation than something we're like a mental stamp we're putting on, like, oh, time to do the Om, like this, but rather soften into creating space or attuning to this pre-existent vibration, and then you become something like the instrument of the sound. And accomplished musicians will tell you that there comes a point where it's like, who's playing who, right? Am I playing the flute, or is the flute playing me? And to be that kind of empty vessel for the sound is akin to the spirit of Om. Okay. So we'll play with a shorter recitation. So classically, there's various ways of counting, and one of them is a 6 count. And that's more of what we'll work with in our asana practice. So you don't have to stretch this thing out for, as long as you can possibly exhale, but just a succinct rendering of the mantra as we chant in our asana practice. There you go, friends. It's a tidy little intro. Once again, we'll practice Om in our asana, and that'll lead up to the same kriya that we were doing, meditative practice that we were doing earlier. Okay. Are we about ready? Great. I'll demonstrate. Set up shop here. Start standing again. That should about do it. Great. Please join your palms. And we'll chant Om 3 times here. Begin by establishing your stance as foundation, and become more present through the attunement to the breath. And equal parts AUM. Soften your eyes and release your fingertips. Inhale. You can bring the arms up to the side. I'm a little confined here, but inhale, the arms up overhead, on the side or directly. Then exhale, our forward fold. Come up halfway, breathe in. And exhale. Bend your knees, come up. And again, release the arms. Inhale, your arms. And exhale, fold. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, come to chair. And release the arms, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway. Step your left foot back, come into a lunge. And inhale, rise up. Step into our forward fold once again. Come up halfway, breathe in. Step your right foot back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, step into your forward fold. Halfway. Exhale. And bend your knees, come up through chair. Release the arms. Chair pose, 2 breaths. Rather, let's take this dynamic chair. So exhale, come back. Temper the navel back, tuck your chin slightly. Then inhale up. Exhale. Firmly draw the navel back. Inhale. Exhale. And again, pause and chair. Good, straighten and come into your forward fold. Come up halfway again. Step your left foot back. And come up into standing lunge. Let's take the palms to the heart. So the back heel is lifted, truly a lunge. Exhale. And take the arms up overhead. Exhale. This time we'll chant AUM as we release the hands down. So inhale, arms overhead. Bring awareness ascending up the spine. Om. Again. From base to crown. Om. 2 more. We'll lift the arms and silently hear the sound on the exhalation. All right, let's step into our forward fold. Come up halfway. And take the right leg back this time. Palms to the heart. Exhale. Arms out, breathe in. First one's just a giveaway, so silently, just release the hands down. We'll do 4 times with the mantra. Om. 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 And pause. Hear the sound through the spine on the exhalation silently. Step in your forward fold. Come up halfway. Exhale. Again, bend your knees. push into the earth, rise up through chair, exhale, arms down to the side. Join your palms, stand centrally. All right. Let's actually pause in a forward fold here. So inhale up tall, exhale, come over. You can grip your big toes with your pointer and middle finger, just catch onto the legs anyhow. Halfway, exhale, fold. Right, breathing into the edges of the pose. Listen to the body's will to unfold. Its natural rhythm. As opposed to imposing. Nobody likes to be imposed upon. Right, let's come up halfway and step back into a dog. As you exhale and draw dog again, draw the navel to the spine. And gesture towards it remaining there even as you inhale. All right, step your right foot forward. Take your back hand to the sacrum. Right hand, inhale left. Exhale 25. Inhale, so keep the spine and arm in the same plane or line along with the neck. 50. Inhale. 75. Inhale. And 50 again. All right, send your right hip back to create more space in your right waist. Reach along from your pubic bone, send your pubic bone down and stretch along all the way up into your throat. So the front body remains long. Good. And exhale into the final forward fold. Either catch the wrist or use your hands for support on the floor or block. All right, inhale, come up about 75%. Release your hands, bring them next to the fingers here. We'll inhale, straighten, exhale, Om through the spine once again. Inhale. Om. You need to gently bend the knee a bit, you can. Om. 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 Hands to the hips, inhale up vertical. Step the second side forward. Step back. Same drill, same lineup. Second side. Inhale. 75. Inhale. 50. Up. 75. Inhale. Halfway. Pause. Send your left hip back, left femur, top of the left femur bone back. Tailbone back, stretch long from the pubic bone to your throat. And come into the final forward fold. Okay, let's come up. And 75. Again, bring the fingertips next to the ears. Om. Breathe in, straighten the arms. Om. 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 Hands to the hips. Inhale. Stand in the silence, the reverberating silence. All right, let's come back into dog. All right, let's step a foot forward, whichever foot you need to step forward so that you can see the screen here. And we'll take a block outside of the right foot, half in front of the toes, halfway behind. Reach the arms. Done this before. So side that the block's on, we'll bend that knee as we come in and out of the pose. So reach and seat the sound in the navel. So as we twist or turn in the navel, you're kind of holding energy and vibration in the navel. Om. Draw the navel back at the bottom of the out breath. Bend the knee, inhale, return back up. Navel back. Om. Inhale. Om. Last one. Om. Continue to hear the sound on the exhalation silently. And exhale, come down, catch the block, change sides. So shift it over there in preparation. Second side. Om. 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 Again, silently. Continue. Down. And inhale, return up. Exhale. Step the feet together. In the palms. And reflect on the midline. Just feel into the presence or reverberation of Om to whatever degree you can. And then release the hands, bend the knees. Come through chair. Straighten the legs into a forward fold. Look halfway. Let's step back into your dog pose. All right, let's come down to our stomach. Let's come up 25%, Cobra. And exhale, come down. 50%. Exhale. 75. Exhale. 100. Exhale. This time we'll come up, hold the breath in Cobra, mentally chant Om on the exhalation, and then do it vocally on the exhalation as you come back down. Continued awareness in the heart. Inhale up. Hold the breath, silently seat Om in the heart. Then vocally, Om. 3 more. And then finally, just remain in the pose. Ooh. Just breathing normally. And exhale, come down. Pause, rest. All right, let's come up into standing kneeling. Arms overhead. And control your descent. So keep your arms, your spine, your head all in the same line. As long as you can. Exhale down. At the last moment, swing the arms behind you and look to the side. Then take the arms out to the side once again. Inhale up vertical. Come down. Control your exhalation. Control your descent. And then again, swing the arms. This time, look the other way. Do 2 more sets like that. And then on the final one, adjust, come into child's pose. These come up. And we'll adjust into a seat, come into Upavishta or wide angle pose. So feet are about 90 degrees apart, toes straight up towards the ceiling. Fingertips in front of you. You may want to block within range when we arrive in the finished product, and you can rest your head on the block. 25%. 50. Inhale. 75. Inhale. And come over to whatever degree you can. Again, you can use the block or support under the head as you wish. Continue to gather your awareness inwards, or create a deeper listening within the pose. All right, inhale, come up. Let's your legs, just pause for a moment. And the next 3 exhalations internally, just concentrate on the sound of Om. Experience it reverberate through all your cells. And we'll transition onto our backs and come into a reclined twist. So whatever your twist of choice is, offset the hips, drop the limbs, the other side. Inhale, center, offset the hips to the other side, and again, twist. And inhale, center, resting position. Let's take your block, and just the lowest setting, place it underneath the sacrum. Keep your low back lifted, Even here, I have to adjust the program a bit. You could even do this with a blanket if the block's too hard. Start with the legs straight up. Then catch the outer thighs with your hands. Inhale, open the, or resist with your hands as the legs come wide. And now mentally place the sound of Om at the pelvic floor as you contract in the pelvic floor and resist, draw the legs together with an exhalation. Inhale, release the pelvic floor. Mentally chant Om, contract the pelvic floor, resist the legs coming together as you exhale. 3 more. And then just pause in legs up in the air pose. Listen, absorb, take it in. Quality of renewal and integration. Let's come down, move blocks. Take your hands, keep the arms straight here. Exhale, bend your right elbow, draw your right knee into your chest. Inhale, push the leg away. Exhale, second side, so bend the left arm, left knee, hip. 2 more sets. Exhale, inhale. Then draw both knees into the chest. And straighten the legs for Shavasana. Once you've established the physical pose, inhale, draw breath and awareness up from the soles of your feet all the way through the body up to the crown. And then exhale from the crown back down to the soles. This wave of breath and awareness. You could even see this as white light. Do this about 10 times, each time the breath becoming a little more soft. Now simply direct your attention to the navel region, Samana Vayu. There, reflect on assimilation and absorption. So the bodily breath, body, mind system assimilating it and integrating itself. The psyche becomes harmonized with the body as you focus at this point. Okay, let's start to re-inhabit. Come through your side. And press up into seated. Establish a meditative seat. And as you're ready, we'll take Nadi Shodhan. So we'll do the 4 purifications. As you take Nadi Shodhan, do so in a 1-to-1 ratio, a 4 count, and use Om as the metronome for that 4 count. So inhale Om, 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 all the while concentration at Agya, and then exhale Om, 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 Om. Continued awareness at the eyebrow center in conjunction with Nadi Shodhan. And complete your current round. Maintain attention at that eyebrow center point as we do Kapalabhati skull shining. Agni Sardoti, the fire wash. Exhale, retention, contract, pump the navel. Ashwini Mudra, full inhale retention. Contract, release the anal sphincter muscle on an inhale breath. Once again, attune to the breath in and out through the nasal passages as you settle and integrate. Gather the breath in the midbrain. Experience it as light. Inhale, gather that light in midbrain. And exhale down the spinal column all the way to the base. As you inhale, mentally experience the sound of Om ascending up through the spine. A-U-M. And exhale the sound of Om once again into the midbrain. Turn to the base. Inhale the sound of Om up the spine. And now descend from the midbrain down to the base, again chanting Om. Inhale, ascend with the sound. Exhale, descend with the sound. Continue. your next inhalation, the sound ascends from the base all the way up to the midbrain. And then exhale, seat the sound there in the midbrain. Continue to meditate on the light and sound of home in the midbrain. Please join your palms as we transition. The sound of Om.